So something I experienced myself, and then I've actually had quite a lot of guys that I've been talking to recently raise this when it comes to things like false allegations. So um, they say to me things like, my wife doesn't understand what I'm going through, my friends don't understand, they tell me, why don't I just leave it alone, why don't I just move on, why don't I forget about it? And they struggle to get across how it actually feels when you're in this situation. So I thought I'd have a stab at it, making a little video talking about how it actually feels when you're going through this in relation to false allegations. So here we go. Right, so let's say a couple of things up front. I've made a video about what it feels like to be in a domestically abusive relationship as a man. So that's a separate thing that if you want to go watch that video, I'll link it at the end. But this is specifically talking about false allegations. Now, these could be in court documents, there could be stuff said to people. It doesn't even have to go as far as the police or court, but it's just about things that get said that affect your life and have an impact on you. So these could be things said at work that cost you your job. It could be during divorce proceedings, you get stuff said in court documents. You could get falsely accused of something and the police show up and try and arrest you. So various circumstances of how false allegations work. I'm not going to go into that now, but I'm going to talk about how it actually feels. And I'll talk from my experience and then from the experience of people I've spoken to. So I remember the first time I got something that had lies in it about things I'd done or things I was being accused of doing, and it absolutely rocked me to my core. It literally felt like my heart fell out of my ass, basically. Like I didn't know what to do. I kind of just sat for ages reading this thing over and over again, and just thinking, what the hell? It's so fake, so false, so untrue, so unjust. It's just ridiculous that someone can say something that is just so far from the truth and just say it. And not only can they just say it, but they can put it in official court documents or say it to the police and be immediately believed, and then you are on the defensive. You are having to prove your innocence, not them having to prove your guilt. So it's very unjust, it's very unfair. And as this went on for me, it absolutely broke me. It became all-consuming. It became, I would dream about it. I would have nightmares about it. I would, when letters were arriving through the mail and I was waiting for stuff from court or things like that, every letter that came through, I'd pick it up with a sense of dread, like, oh, what is it now? Is it from the court? Oh no, it's just a gas bill. And it's like, oh, thank God, it's just a gas bill. And every email that came in, I would be nervous. Like, what is it? What's going to happen next? And every time something came through, there was something next. There was like a bigger lie, a bigger falsehood, a bigger twist. And I think it's very hard to put into words. I'm trying my best here, but it just kind of warps your sense of self, because you believe, almost growing up, in the sense of justice that, court is fair, police are fair, they'll do these things. But someone can literally just take something horrific, say you did it without any proof, and you're now having to run around figuring out how to say you didn't, but no one's listening. And I think that's one of the hardest things. And then on top of that, it's just so unfair. But it is unfair, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's no justice that you can get for this. You can't take it back. You can't make it that it never happened. And it's that sense of, is this ever going to go away? Is it ever going to end? Is this going to stop? Am I ever going to get past this? Are people going to believe that I'm innocent? And for people watching this that are out there trying to support someone that goes through this, those three words are really, really key. I believe you. So literally saying those three words to someone, if you're supporting them, I believe you. So they know someone out there is on their side and believes them, that they didn't do these things they're being accused of. But for people to say, oh, just move on, just forget about it, just walk away, you can't. It takes over your entire being, your mind, your soul, everything. You can't live with this severe injustice. And to ask someone to do that is quite unfair, I think, because it is such a harsh thing. Look, I know I rambled there for about 3 minutes, but hopefully that rambling gives you an idea of the fact that it's so messy in your head. It's so hard to put into words, so hard to, really differentiate what is happening to me here, that it's just, think of it as something that is just all-consuming, terrible. I mean, in a lot of these cases, a lot of these guys I'm talking to, they've lost their jobs, they've lost their kids, and people are asking them to just forget about it. So think about what's at stake, about not even that, even if you haven't lost your job, haven't lost your kids, your self-worth, your sense of who you are, your honor, your integrity is being questioned, and not even just questioned, dragged through the mud by someone. And to say let it go is, understand what you're asking someone when you're saying that to them, and understand where they're coming from when they can't let it go.